When he came on set, he was like, "That's my girl Gav." And I was like, yes. I didn't even know if he would remember, right?
But I do like when you sort of can, when you read it, sometimes I had such relief when I read the script. Sometimes when I don't feel relief, it's usually when I don't take the job.
That makes sense.
You know, once you start killing, it sort of becomes your de facto solution for every problem.
What?
So Riff Raff is what I'd call nonchalantly fucked up. Like there are some messed up things that happen, but it's never too disturbing. How would you personally describe Riff Raff for the uninitiated?
Oh, it's where action meets very dark comedy, a family drama, and a crime drama, dramedy in there. It's a battle between toxic masculinity and uber femininity. What happens when familial resentment builds and boils over, and a real examination of who deserves what and why.
Yeah, well, and what intrigued you most about this project?
Oh, the cast. The cast is, insane. So when I signed on, it was Jennifer and Ed. Those are the only two cast members that had signed on. And then it just kept going with, Bill Murray, Pete Davidson, Louis Pullman, and just kept going. And so, yeah, it's a cast of heavyweights. It's like legends after legend after legend. So I was just excited to be included, to be honest.
Did you have any major takeaways from working with so many talented people?
Oh yeah, it was a masterclass. Like if I could have had my, my acting school notebook out, I would have just been taking notes. Yeah, and they all have different processes, and they're all genius in completely different ways. And they all demand that the camera, comes in. They all know how to bring you in, and I'm just watching in awe and stealing. Basically, I'm going to be stealing from all of them.
Yeah. Well, and I don't think audiences are prepared for the version of Bill Murray that we get in this movie, because he's been such a constant for decades that it's almost like watching your grandpa be mean. So what was it like to work with him in this capacity?
It was awesome. Well, I had the chance, me and Regina Hall were at the Vanity Fair party years ago, and we found ourselves sharing a couch with Bill Murray and Don Rickles. And I think it was like Jane Fonda was over there, and like all these these legends. I don't know how we ended up over there, but it was just like a comedy roast, basically. R.I.P. Don Rickles. But they were just amazing, right? So he kind of knew, like, I could trade, with the best of them, me and Regina. And so when he came on set, he was like, "That's my girl Gav." And I was like, yes. I didn't even know if he would remember it, right? So, yeah, it was wild to watch them, kind of transmute every scene. Nothing was the same. You know what I mean? And that's why they're legends. That's why they're geniuses. But it was very different. I grew up on, Caddyshack and Stripes and Ghostbusters. And so you're kind of like, okay, is that what it's going to be? And he gave you different stuff. And then when you layer in Pete, it's even better. Like it was a treat, legit a treat.
Well, and the story could practically be a stage play with how it's set up and presented. And there's a very fine line between comedy and that darker side. Mm-hmm. And so to maintain that balance, does that mean that the script is being strictly kept to in terms of dialogue, or are you given some wiggle room?
We definitely had some wiggle room. I mean, with the comedians that were, that were part of the cast. But also things that okay, in this situation, is this really true? Does this feel honest? And Ditto gave us, pretty long latitude to play with the script and to find the characters ourselves and to, and add some language if need be. So he wasn't so precious about every single word. So it was good.
Well, thank you so much for talking to me today. This has been great. I really enjoyed the movie. So
no, thank you. Thank you.
Have a great rest of your day. So Riff Raff is what I describe as nonchalantly fucked up, and I absolutely loved your performance as Ruth. She's such a tragic character. What appealed to you most about playing her?
I think most of all was I read the script and actually thought I could maybe do it, and that I maybe could pull it off. Sometimes you get people people come up to you and, sometimes, and especially me, I feel like they come up and they say, oh my God, I have written this in the script and you were perfect for this part. You were like, you're meant to do this part. We're like, and then I read the script and I'm like, oh yeah, I could possibly pull this off or whatever, or just, I can't relate, whatever. It really is one of those things you sort of, for me, I know instantly whether when I can pull it. And I sort of felt, I don't know, I could relate to her. Every actress has that moment where, you're, living glory days. And then, just as a regular human being, glory days sometimes turn into nothing. And, she was someone who was sort of like probably a bombshell when she was in her youth. And then her ex-husband has, who she really loves, has no desire to be with her. And, she feels like a loser. And, a lot of these gangster guys, whatever, they're busy up to no good. So, you don't really count, very much. And so I could relate to all of it. I mean, it could have gone horribly wrong. I'm glad it didn't, but I do like when you sort of when you read it, sometimes I had such relief when I read the script. Sometimes when I don't feel relief, it's usually when I don't take the job.
That makes sense.
Or you're just like, I can't play this slalom skier.
What's your process like for a character usually? Are you just going from the script, or are you working out some of that background on your own?
Yeah, I am. That's a really good question. I am sort of working it out as I go. Everything, the conditions, it was freezing. Somehow it was freezing. The minute I got into my clothes, that were sort of creeping me out a little bit. Whenever that's so it made me sort of uncomfortable, and I felt like that really worked for the character. Maybe that she was, because she's uncomfortable, just as a human. I don't know. Sometimes it just clicks, and sometimes it doesn't. Some people would see the movie and go like, it didn't click for me or whatever. But I need some sort of confidence in order to take a role, and I felt like maybe I could pull off the sort of girl that's rough around the edges and has seen better days, but somehow doesn't want to give up on hope. Not complete despair.
Yeah. Oh, and I think you pull it off wonderfully. And thank you so much for talking with me today. This has been great. You have a great rest of your day, Jennifer.
Hey, thank you so much.
Thank you for clicking on our video, everybody. If you like what you saw here, please make sure you like the video and subscribe and share with your friends who like this sort of content. JoBlo remains an independent company, and we appreciate all of your support.